Power some. Okay.
That's what we said.
That's true. It's the closest. Yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen of gentlemen of the press, we want to invite you to this extraordinary press conference organized by Senator Nyan D. Twayan Jr. At the office. We want to request your indulgence as you go through this conference. Critical issues regarding the country and interest of the people of Limba. As he highlighted in his discussion, we want to say thank you and stay tuned.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, my beloved people of Nimba County who I represent, and the people of Liberia whose business we are elected to do. As senator representing the great people of Nimba, I follow today with keen interest the recently signed concession and access agreement between the government of Liberia and Evanho, Liberia, which grants the company the right to transport iron ore from the Republic of Guinea through Liberia's rails and port infrastructure for the period of 25 years. Today, the president sent that signed document to the legislature to begin ratification exercises. While we welcome every genuine effort to strengthen Liberia's economy and foster regional cooperations, it is my duty as a lawmaker and representing the people to ensure that such agreements are fair, transparent, and beneficial to all Liberians, especially the affected communities that I represent. It is important to state that the railroad and associated infrastructure pass through the heart of our people's land in Nimba, where residents have where they have already endured years of environmental degradation, loss of farmland, and displacement without adequate compensation or social benefits. Therefore, any agreement that seeks to expand or extend the use of these infrastructures must directly address these historical economic injustices. The days of signing bad and lopsided agreements that undermine the rights and dignity of our people are over. We must ensure that the agreement reflects the following. 1, adequate community benefits to be clearly stated and binding and not left to the discretion of the company. Proper environmental safeguards to protect our lands, our rivers, and farmlands. 3, fair revenue sharing mechanism that guarantee Liberia and particularly affected community a just return on natural resource endowments. Transparency in all financial transactions, including tax obligations, royalties, and profit sharing. Furthermore, I note with serious concern the reported $37 million payment that was made by Evanho to the previous government as stated in the president's cover letter of this ratification document. The Liberian people deserve to know what that money was paid for and how was it utilized by the previous government. Accountability must be the foundation of trust in public governance, and will ensure that. As a member of the Senate Committee on Ways, Means, Finance, and the Budget, I also caution against a premature inclusion of the subsequent $10 million payment and $15 million payments, which are tied to legislative ratification and access respectively, to the current draft national budget. Doing so will create pressure on the legislature to hastily ratify this agreement and potentially without thorough scrutiny. This must not be allowed. Meaning, the signature fee of $10 million and $15 million after ratification and access should not be encouraged to be placed in the current budget. Let it be clear that we will not rush. We will study every clause of this agreement, assess its fiscal, environmental, and social implications, and engage with all stakeholders, including local communities, civil society, and experts, to ensure that the interests of the Liberian people come first. Finally, the Community Development Fund enshrined within this document must be explicitly defined in the agreement. It should not be left open-ended and subject to the goodwill of the concessionaire, as was done with previous concessionaires like ArcelorMittal, B Mountain, and the rest of them. We must include and deserve concrete, measurable commitment, such as schools, clinics, roads, and livelihood, and not vague promises. I call upon my colleagues at this legislature, civil society organizations, and the media to join in demanding transparency, fairness, and accountability. Liberia can no longer afford to enter into agreements that mortgage our future for short-term gains. The time for buy agreements are over. It must be done with due diligence to protect our people, secure a sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you. We will now take questions if there are any.
Yeah, thank you, Senator, for the information. A lot of people want to know. You're raising concerns, especially with respect to this particular document or this concession.
Yeah.
What makes you think that there are possibilities of this thing not going the way of the Liberian people?
Well, if you listen to the statement clearly, this press conference is meant to put out there our expectation. We already have started having some concerns, especially money that was paid to the previous government of $37 million. A document that was not signed yet. We don't know what that $37 million was for. We are not accusing anybody of anything, but we need to know what that money was for. It was mentioned in a cover letter of the president, but the purpose was not stated. So we need to know and what that money was used for, whether it was placed in a consolidated account or so. And part of the concerns that we are also having, that we have seen with previous agreements, is that upon ratification, there will be $10 million given, by the company. And once the access is granted in the future now, when they sort it out with AML, then they will give another $50 million. Our concern is that money or those monies should not be placed in the current draft budget, because that will put the legislature under immense pressure to not do thorough investigative analysis and due diligence to some of the points that we are raising. There's a parable in Liberia that when snake bite you see laser tail, you can be scared. The agreement with ArcelorMittal and other companies around here, such as B Mountain and other people, they are bad. Imagine we sat here, there's a gold machine digging underground in Cape Mount and Bomi County, and the gold is not weighed in Liberia. They take the gold out of here in disproportionate amount and take it to London to weigh it, as if to say to bring a machine right here in King George or right here in Tottenham to weigh the gold will be a difficult thing to do. These are things that we want to avoid. These railroads are passing through our lands, displacing our people, depriving them of farming, depriving them of fishing, depriving them of hunting, which are all their livelihood that they depend on. When these agreements come, they must meet the demands and benefit of our people to a substantial level. That's why we are doing a preemptively warning our colleagues so that we can dot the I and cross the T's.
Yeah, so Senator, mine is I'm gonna follow up with my colleague. One say like you have to go in your code now,
Yeah.
documents before the legislature.
Yeah.
And you have the power, the president has played his part.
Yes.
And then you have the power to see how best all of these things you have raised
Yeah.
to address them, to correct the mistakes, maybe if
There were any, yeah.
the executive.
Yeah.
How are you going about to lobby with your colleague to ensure that all of the T and the I's are dotted?
This is the beginning of the process. To put a statement like this up there or out there to make sure that, our colleagues are guided by some of the norms that we should set. And more besides, I just returned from South Africa from attending the EPINET conference that is purposely safeguarding Africa. It's the African Parliamentary Union on unfair taxation and revenue collection, especially from extractive industry. And they have already, volunteered to review these, concession agreements for us free of charge by paying experts to do so. Similar thing that they did in 2023 that produced the red flag memo that led to the denial of the ratification of the second phase of the ArcelorMittal agreement. They have also gave the voluntary service to do so. So we're going to be submitting the documents to them as soon as we receive it from the Secretary of the Senate so that they can begin to look at it for us, because since they have the expertise to do so, and they will inform us, and we'll come right back here to inform our colleagues and lobby with them and say, look, these are the problems wrong with this, concession. Let's send it back to the executive to correct it. But mind you, there's a high possibilities. That the executive branch has done a tremendous job with this agreement. And once we looked at it and we sent it to our international partners and our experts and our, analysts, and it come back to be very good, we're going to waste no time to sign it, but adapt so. And that's why we are putting the preemptive comments out there so that we can meet the benchmark of adequate community benefit, proper environmental safeguards, fair revenue sharing mechanism, transparency in all financial transactions. You know fully well that existing companies, some of which we have been banking on to do the right things, have been carrying on transfer pricing, misinvoicing and cheating the government. Some of them been here for 22 years. ArcelorMittal been here for 22 years. They have not paid dividend on profit once in their lifetime. And our calculation showed that they have collected more than $1.4 billion. They have collected more than $5 billion in profit since 2005. And up to date, they have not paid us dividend on that. And they keep crooking us through all sort of, mechanics. That's why we are calling for transparent financial transaction and fair revenue sharing mechanism in this Ivanhoe, Liberian government concession access agreement.
Senator, my name is Blamoto from the Liberian Investigator newspaper.
Okay.
It's about good concessions in the interest of Liberians
Yeah.
in development.
Yeah.
Let me also take you to recently some of your colleagues paid a visit to the operation side of ArcelorMittal.
Yeah.
The entire country knows your role about ArcelorMittal doing the right thing. What's the report did you get from your colleagues? And B, to the question, are you aware of the Ayrton and Iboma loan dues? Getting back to before the current government?
Well, to your point, though, my colleagues who visited NIMBA, we raised the issue. The leadership of the Senate has taken seize of that matter. And the concession committee and the joint committee that was constituted, as far as I'm concerned, is still investigating ArcelorMittal. And we'll be pushing this sitting for that report to come out. But when it comes to what happened between me and my colleagues, the leadership of the Senate has taken seize of that matter. So I don't wish to comment on it further. The issue of Ayrton and Iboma, I can state to you clearly as I issue a statement about it. We are not aware of it. And the senator who made the comment, I asked him, and he clarified to me that he just mentioned that Ayrton and Iboma have made initial contact with the government.